Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Brian Good here on this Wednesday. Here's an update to the outlook here for the next few days. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit about next week as well. A lot of chatter about that already. Let's start about the good news so far today in the area. It's not a bad day outside, actually, around the area. We had a lot more cloud cover yesterday than today. And we got a south wind, so that is helping things out for us quite a bit. Here comes the rain, though. It is already developing areas of Missouri into Illinois and into Iowa. This batch of rain, for the most part, initially will pass to our north and should not affect really any of our counties here. But as we head into tomorrow night, there'll be another surge of rain that will be developing here in our southwest, and that will work its way into here as we head into tomorrow night, and especially early into the day on Friday. So that's our rain chance we're going to be tracking here as we head through the next little bit. Let me show you what it looks like on the actual models itself as we take you through the next couple of days here. Start you off with tonight, no problems. During the day tomorrow, no problems. But tomorrow night, late, likely after midnight, as we head toward sunrise on Friday, you see scattered showers across the area. We may see a break at times for Indiana, but for the most part, this is going to be along and south of the Ohio River is our best chance to see some steady rainfall around the area. This is not going to be a whole lot of rain, but again, rain chance will remain intact over us as we head throughout the day on Friday. Early Friday, though, here's where things get interesting. Some cold air gets involved as the rain moves out. So this is another situation where if you're not awake, you're going to miss it. But there could be some snowflakes on the tail end of this, a burst of some snow potentially along I-64 as the moisture moves out. This is not a big deal, and it will not accumulate. Temperatures will barely be below the 40-degree mark at this point, which is cold enough for it to snow. You don't have to be 32 degrees to snow, but you do have to be around 32 for it to actually stick and cause problems, and we're going to be above that. So, again, not a big ordeal, but it'll be in and out of here pretty fast, and then get ready for chilly air as we have throughout the day on Saturday, and especially as we head into Sunday. In fact, let me show you the core of the cold air. It's into areas of Canada and into Alaska. Look at some of these numbers here off to the north and northwest. 45 to 40 below zero. Ouch. That is tough. These are not wind chills. These are actual numbers. Now, the core of the cold air is staying up here so far. But the indications are that there's going to be some of this. It'll come down in chunks that will head our direction as we head into not only Sunday, but potentially next week and especially into December. We do not see a weather pattern yet that is shaping up for the core of the cold air to move all the way down and park itself in the United States. We're waiting for that because that potential is there. Usually we get cold air to build up like this. It eventually does break free and head southbound. But we got to watch the trends on that, and the models are not going to catch on to that until probably the last minute. The GFS has been trying to hint at it past a couple of days, and it loses it, then it brings it back again. So the models are really struggling with it. But I can tell you, as we usually see this pattern, when you get cold air like this, eventually it will bust out and head to the south. The first time we'll have of that is when Alaska and Western Canada starts to warm up. And so far, that is not happening. Stay tuned. We'll keep an eye on that core of the cold air. But as I mentioned, it's coming our way for the weekend. So, yeah, temperatures the next couple of days in the 50s. But as we head into Saturday night and early Sunday morning, temperatures around 24 here in Louisville. Teens, though, I think this is the European model. I think it's too warm. I think we'll see many spots into the teens as we head into Sunday morning. And Sunday afternoon, these are highs. We're not even going to hit the freezing mark according to the European model. Many of us may stay in the 20s all day on Sunday. And keep in mind, this is also with a, let me change the color. These are highs into the 20s, all with the idea, though, that we'll have a full day of sunshine in the area. So this is not cloud-induced or anything. This is a full day of sun, and temperatures won't even make it to freezing. That is it's impressive. Cold air coming our way. So that lends us to what's going to happen for next week. There is going to be, this weekend, an area of low pressure. It's going to be parked itself there across areas of the southwest United States. It's going to have a lot of snow with it and some rain here to the south. As it moves out, there will be a batch of freezing rain, snow, breaking out across Texas into Oklahoma. The big question is, with this low pressure, is it going to scoot more to the east and head offshore in this fashion? Or is it going to track to the southeast, deepen, and then head up the east coast and become a big snowmaker potentially for the interior areas of New England? And as it makes that turn, it would bring a swath of snow with it as it makes that turn, and that would include parts of Tennessee into Kentucky potentially. Because, again, we're going to have this cold air in place on Sunday right over us, and this system's going to try to cut underneath it. Usually when we see these scenarios, the cold air, the models are too quick on moving it out of the way. So what ends up happening is the storm runs into it, and then you get a wintry mess that develops here. This is how usually we get ice storms, to be honest with you. And I would not rule out freeze and rain. There's been a lot of talk of snow, but I would not rule out some freeze and rain potentially out of this for Tuesday into Wednesday as it moves out. If we can get the layers of the atmosphere cold enough over us, it would be all snow. But again, it's just way too early to tell. The models are picking it out, so it's all over social media now. We've been talking about it as well. It's getting out there. There's always signs that something is going to pass here in the southeast part of the country. We know that. Pretty high confidence in that, in fact. We do not know yet if it's going to go up the coast or it's going to head out to sea, and the track of that could be significant. One of them could bring us snow or even a freeze and rain potential. The other one would leave us completely dry here in Kentucky. We miss out from the entire event. It just stays cold, and that's it. So lots of ifs still with this kind of a setup as we get into next week. Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated. I do think there is going to be a chance, anyway, for this area to see something in a wintry form next week. We just don't know what yet or how much or that kind of nature. So it's just purely guessing at this point, to be honest with you, because we just don't know. We don't have enough data yet to really pinpoint it. Having said that, here is the latest European model that came out actually last night. And this is what it was thinking. It takes the track and bends it through areas southeast of Kentucky, so that brings the heavy snow band. And I use the term heavy, relatively speaking. This is not a snowstorm, really. A couple of inches of snow is not a big deal. But the European model is actually updating right now, the newest run. And I am looking at it. It's not done yet. When it is done, I will do a written blog and post the new European. So stay tuned for that. Right now, it is not up, though. The GFS had snow over us. It just updated. Let me see if this model catches the update. And it looks like it does. The latest update gives us nothing. It gave us 2 to 3 inches of snow this morning. The latest update says nothing. Maybe some light snow from the northern branch feature here across Indiana. That is the problem we're going to run into. The models are going to, at times, bring the snow band into us. Sometimes it's going to take it away. Sometimes it's going to say it's going to be freezing rain. Then it's going to take that away. The models are struggling because it doesn't understand very well the depth of the Arctic air that will move in Sunday and Monday. And we see this every time I've seen this set up. The models don't get a handle on it until at least 48 hours, maybe sometimes 72 at best, before the models really gauge on what's happening here and give us some concrete info. That would not happen until this weekend. So between now and this weekend, we're just going to show you a lot of models, and they're going to be different probably every day. Don't get caught up on each one of the models, okay? The important thing is to get the idea of the bigger picture here, and that is that the southern system's moving through. We will have cold air for it to work with. We just don't know the track of the system, and that will greatly impact its impact on us, obviously. But the reason why we're talking about it now is because this is not just an ordinary week next week. It's the busiest travel week of the year. And we've got a holiday, of course, Thanksgiving on Thursday. So that's what we're talking about it now. Just give you a heads up in the back of your mind. You want to stay close to the weather and keep an eye on it, especially if you're traveling to the East Coast, because I think they have a bigger risk for something a little more significant than we would here in the coming days, and kind of keep that in mind as you make your plans. So that's how things are looking for the rain chance for tomorrow night and Friday, and a little bit of snow very early Saturday, and the cold weather on Sunday, and then the interesting setup as we get into next week. That's how it's all looking today. Again, I'll update you on the European coming up in the written blog a little bit later on this afternoon, and of course Kevin will be in here with much more today beginning at 5. We'll see you then.